Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. This is a very short video, very short show. And I want to share this with you guys really quick because obviously there's some developing news, and I told you guys I'd be keeping an eye on this particular case. But trust me, in a couple hours, I'll be back on to talk more and go into more depth on things. But I was going to do this as a pre-recorded video, but I don't have a whole lot of time. So I need to just jump in here, give you guys the information. Okay? So, like I said, this is a very brief show. So get on in here, get in here. We got some new information, and we got to get this out here as quickly as possible. So do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it. If you're watching on other platforms, make sure you hit that reaction button. Don't forget to follow over on those platforms. Subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below, become a member. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, we got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay, like I said, guys, this is going to be a very, very short show, okay? We're going to try to get this done in about 15 minutes. Okay, so like I said, or, starting now in 15 minutes, we got to get into it. Okay, there is some new breaking news that happened overnight that I want to share with you guys in regards to this whole Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie's abduction. A lot of people are still trying to figure out what's going on. Police are very concerned, very confused. We don't know what actually happened. Was she taken by somebody she knew? Was she taken by somebody she didn't know? Was this some sort of random situation? Or was she targeted? I think that this mother, okay, this loving mother, was taken. Targeted, was indeed targeted. That's just my personal opinion. That's just me shooting from the hip. And I don't think that whoever took her operated alone. I am going to say that too. I really don't think they operated alone. Whoever took Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie. Now, of course, we know all of the information, and don't worry, we will be doing a recap in a few hours. But of course, like I said, I wanted to come in here and give you guys what they recently broke as far as the news out here. And I know a lot of us are very concerned about what happened here, and we all want her to be returned home safe and sound, right? But we got some new information that doesn't sound so great. It could be nothing. It could be something. One thing's for sure. They are now saying that they have found blood inside the home in this area where she was allegedly taken, forced to leave her home, taken against her will. There is something else that the police did correct, and they kind of walked back a piece of information, which we are going to talk about here in just a minute. But let's get straight into the meat and potatoes. Like I said, this is a flash live show. I would have done this as a pop-up, but I just didn't have time to shoot it, cut it, upload it. That takes a lot more time than just going live. So if you appreciate me giving you guys this very fast breaking news update, please make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay, show some love in those likes and the subscriptions. That would really mean a lot. And let's rock and roll. So they say blood was found inside Nancy Guthrie's home after forced entry. A sheriff wells up on being asked if he thinks Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mom is still alive. So they said blood is found or was found inside the home of Savannah Guthrie's abducted mother, Nancy, of her home after a napper, okay, some sort of assailant walked in there, forced their way into the property. So the disturbing new details were shared with the LA Times after the Daily Mail revealed how the 84-year-old had been taken from her bed at her $1 million home in Tucson, Arizona, late Saturday or early Sunday morning. So late Saturday night or early Sunday morning is when they believe she was taken. Okay. An exhaustive hunt for Nancy continues. The Pima County Sheriff Nanos almost bursting into tears Monday night when asked if he thinks Nancy is still alive. And I feel like he's just been really emotional still, no matter what. Like every time that he talks, you could tell he's emotionally connected to this one, right? But he welled up after he was asked by the AZ family host, Brianna Whitley, do you believe you're still looking for Nancy Guthrie alive at this point, that she could be held somewhere? And if so, do you believe that is local in the Tucson area, or that she's been taken somewhere else or taken somewhere? So he stumbled on his words and he said that he and his deputies are just not going to give up on hope of finding Nancy, who officials say is frail and has been without daily medication that she needs to survive. So again, just really quick, we already know that Savannah Guthrie is in the Arizona, in the Tucson area right now. Obviously, after she learned about her mother being taken, I'd be hopping on the first flight out as quickly as I could, right? If I have to, I'd walk, okay? I'd crawl, right? I think we all would do whatever it takes, right? So Sheriff Nanos said they did not believe Nancy had been targeted because of her rich and famous daughter, but said he could not rule out that line of inquiry. It should still be on the table no matter what. I agree. This still has to be on the table. That part should still be on the table no matter what, all right? Until we hear something otherwise, right? Meanwhile, Savannah is said to be traveling with a security team. She has dropped out of hosting the Milan Winter Olympics, which begins Wednesday. So today, the show she hosts led with Nancy's abduction for the second day in a row on Tuesday, today, and shared Guthrie's request for prayers. And we will be looking at her statement in a couple hours when we come back, okay? But like I said, I wanted to give you guys this update here. We are going to get into some video. And again, where could Nancy Guthrie be? What actually happened here? But what's interesting is there was DNA. They found DNA, blood, and, DNA inside the home. Whose blood could that be? Because here's the thing. If they find out that it is the blood that was found inside the home is that belonging to Nancy Guthrie, then and it depends on how much, how bad, the scene is, then that's not great news, right? That doesn't sound like we're going down the route of something good, but you never know, right? Yeah, Miss Udi, that's one thing I'm still trying to understand too. How much blood? It could just be a little speck. It could be a pool. You never know. Regardless, whenever you see blood in the house, that's never a good sign, depending on how much there is, right? It could be the assailant. It could be the abductor's blood as well. Let's not forget that too. It could very well be that too, but we don't know, right? They're running tests. They're going to run DNA. I hope to God it is that abductor's. I hope to God it is. I hope she got a whole lot of licks in, okay? I hope she made that person leak like crazy. I hope, right? She may not be super able-bodied, but she's sharp as a tack, as they say, right? They've been saying over and over and over again. I don't think that she would just, get taken without a good scuffle. Just my thoughts, right? So I hope she got some good licks in, okay? Make this mother lover bleed. But that's just me, all right? Let's take a listen to this.
So right now, the search for Savannah Guthrie's missing mother growing more frantic. Guthrie's colleagues at NBC detailing some of the challenges law enforcement are facing.
Clearly, this wasn't a robbery, and this was somebody who was, they tried to abduct this person. They get them out of the house in the middle of the night, it appears. And so because of the neighborhood, it's not tightly packed. It's within Tucson, but we're not talking about house next to house next to house. So because of the vegetation, because of the terrain, because of the way the layout of the neighborhood, according to the sheriff's office, so far they have not had a lot of luck in getting video. We were talking about yesterday morning, hopefully a neighbor would have a video of a car leaving or somebody in the area. That hasn't been too fruitful so far. So that's proving to be a real challenge.
So meanwhile, law enforcement sources telling the LA Times there was blood found at the 84-year-old's home, which showed signs of a forced entry. Forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Petler joins us now. Dr. Petler, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to start there about the blood found at the crime scene, showing that there was some type of struggle. As they process the scene, what are detectives looking for?
So, good morning, Lawrence. Thank you for having me. Yes, this is a very serious case. And when they're processing the scene, they're going to be wanting to look at every single thing that is normal in the house compared to what would not be normal. So, obviously, blood and any kind of forced entry would not be normal. And the way that they're
True.
going to do this is by using victimology. They're going to learn everything that they can learn about Nancy Guthrie, and then they are going to compare it to what they're seeing in the scene. It's normal to process for fingerprints, for DNA, for trace evidence, for impression evidence. There's lots of different types of evidence that they can process for in the scene. And then with rapid results and a lot of the technology that we have today, they can get information about various types of evidence pretty quickly.
Yeah, obviously they're doing everything. I'm hoping that they're doing everything they can, right? They're doing their deep dive, they're doing their due diligence, they're trying to find her, they're trying to find any clues that can lead them to finding her. Finding the assailant, of course, would get them finding her as well. Obviously, we are beyond that window, that 24-hour window that she needed as far as her medication. I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm all fingers crossed, right? That the medication that she needed, maybe she doesn't need it as bad, if that makes any sense. I'm hoping that she's okay. But the fact that there hasn't been anything yet, as far as if this was a ransom thing, I feel like they would have reached out to Savannah or to the family, basically saying like, give me some money. And we haven't heard any of that either. So there's some serious concern here. There's a lot of concern coming from this side of the world. Okay. There is no ransom, no demands of any kind. There hasn't been any type of, from what we understand, no information has been leaked as far as there being a demand for anything financially. So again, I am curious about this. And here's the other thing. I'm going to say this really quick because some people I've been seeing on the internet, it is diabolical. Okay. Let's not turn it into a politicized thing unless it needs to be a politicized thing. Do you understand? Because I know some of y'all sitting here, like I've been seeing things online. Some people are saying some really, really disgusting things solely because of what they think her family leans, what they think this family, the Guthrie family, leans politically. And I think that's wrong. Okay. If it needs to be a political thing, then we'll find out through the investigation. But I think it's really wrong for people to be out here pointing blame on their political affiliation is the reason why she went missing. Like I said, let's find out first before we just automatically say, "Oh yeah, they're damn radical leftists. That's why they're being taken." You know what I'm saying? Like come on, guys. If this was your mama, would you want that kind of talk out here? I guarantee you would not. All right. So some people have some respect. So crazy. This is a human life. This is a human being. This is somebody's mother, okay? Let's have some respect. If it is politically motivated, we'll find out. But we don't know anything. So let's not go out here in the internets and start pointing fingers because of whether she's Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter. What matters is her being found alive. And if we find out that there's something bigger going on and it all has to do with something that's politically charged, then we will find that out. We'll eventually find out. But for right now, this is a mother that has gone missing of a well-known person, of a well-known TV personality. That's it. Let's find her, right? That's the right thing to do.
So, Dr. Pettler, before they called the police, they thought that she was just missing. So the family went back to the home. They could have unintentionally contaminated the scene. What do investigators do in those type of situations?
Unfortunately, that is normal. You know, a family member that is frantically looking for a missing family member, the first thought is not usually, oh my goodness, my family member has been abducted. Then the first thought is maybe the person is injured or the person has fallen ill in the home, especially when you're dealing with elderly care. So the fact that they were in there and that they tried to locate her will be taken into account by investigators, and they can use samples to rule out contamination and try to mitigate and limit the effect of any potential contamination that was unintentionally done by family members who are looking for her.
Dr. Pettler, our technology has become so advanced, and when it comes to the video surveillance, we rely on that in a lot of investigations, especially with the new AI technology that can really track vehicle movement, when and where, how many times they cross a certain path. But investigators are saying, according to some reports, that it's been difficult to get video surveillance in that community because of the layout. What can they do to jump those hurdles?
So luckily, the FBI is tremendous in their digital evidence resources and their research. They have the best people in the world working there, and their resources trump any local resources. So the fact that the local the sheriff's office has brought in all of these other agencies is to benefit this case. It's really going to make a huge difference, because all the digital evidence is trackable, but there are limitations, as you mentioned, from the terrain, from the climate, from the mountains, the geography, and they can just do the very best that they can with what they have available and try to use other evidence to fill in some gaps. And a lot of times that's very common in these types of situations.
Obviously, one thing is for sure. They have digital evidence of some sort. What did they find? You know, what have they seen? Obviously, they say that she has been taken. That is without question. She is nowhere to be found, obviously. And of course, we're all trying to figure out what happened here. Now, there's a slew of different possibilities here. Okay. The last people to see her, allegedly, the last people to see her alive are her daughter, okay, Annie Guthrie. And so she went out to play mahjong and go have dinner with her daughter Annie. She dropped her off. Now, I think Annie, does Annie have a boyfriend? Any of those things? Those things are going to be a concern of mine instantly. I'm going to start asking questions on who was the last people to see her alive? Who were people that had access to her home on a weekly basis? Those could be housekeepers. Those could be landscapers. Those could be the pool boy. I mean, it could be anybody. She is not an able-bodied person. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm kind of curious about. The other thing too is, I saw somebody said, have bank accounts been moved? Here's the thing. All of her information, her personal identifications, her bank cards, credit cards, cell phones, purse, keys, etc. All of it was left inside the house. So if they were to find like, oh, her credit card is missing, then they would be tracking the hell out of that credit card right now, because you know for a fact whoever took her might be using that credit card to pay for things. So that isn't it. You see what I'm saying? Somebody bust through that door, must have known something, must have known the layout of the house, must have known or had been tracking this poor woman for a while before they actually attacked. Again, this could still be a situation where this could be a situation where it's just a random attack, that she just happens to be a random victim, or it could be connected to something within the family or within her, right? Still, to me, I feel that this is a targeted attack. She was a single 84-year-old woman living all by herself in a beautiful $1 million home in Tucson, Arizona. Not very able-bodied. If there's somebody out there that could have got a glimpse of her, say going to the supermarket or something of that sort, that's possible. And then they targeted her right then and there. There she is, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And just watched her every move. Or it could be somebody that actually worked on the grounds, helping her take out the trash, clean up the house, mow the lawn, do landscaping work outside the house. But then it also could be somebody within the family, someone that knew her, that knows her and knows who she is connected to or what kind of money she has access to. But here's the thing. If it was a financial thing, then why haven't we heard anything about a ransom? Why haven't we heard anything about money, demands for finance? We haven't heard anything like that, or at least, what they've given to the public. So again, what happened here? DNA has been found. They're running the DNA. Blood, because they found blood inside the house. How much blood was found? Was it a lot of blood? Was it not a lot of blood? Is it just a couple specks? What is that? I hope to God it's the assailant and not Nancy, but you never know. But clearly something happened here. Here's the other piece, and we are going to be covering this when we come back, okay, in a couple hours. But one thing is for sure, they did say something that they wanted to correct. They said that she was not taken from her bed. That apparently the sheriff was using that as a turn of phrase. So they're saying she wasn't snatched from her bed, which is also something that's very interesting. She was taken, but they're saying that he did not mean it literally. He didn't mean that she was literally taken from her bed. So that's another piece of information, because, he's been out here doing all kinds of interviews, the sheriff, and he didn't say that during the press conference, but then he said it later on in other interviews. And now he was saying, oh yeah, she was just taken from her home. She was snatched from the bed. Yeah. And of course, everyone took that verbatim. But now, and we're going to hear that in a little bit, not right now, but in a little bit. Now he's walking that back and saying, no, that's not what I meant. But it is what he said. It is what he said verbatim. Okay. But now he's like, okay, no, that's not what it was. She wasn't taken from her bed. But there clearly was a sign of a struggle. There's clearly a sign of her being taken out of that house against her will because of whatever was found in that house. One thing is for sure, if you have blood found inside that house of a place where someone was last seen, yeah, that's a fair assessment that there's something going on, or that there was foul play before this particular person disappeared. All right. But guys, that is the show right now. I just wanted to give you guys this update. Of course, let me just pull up her and Savannah's photo one last time. Okay, I'll be back in a couple hours. We're going to talk more and deep dive into more of this. Okay, but I did want to break that information with you guys. Blood was indeed found inside the house, inside the crime scene, inside the place where Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, was last seen. And now she is nowhere to be found. Yeah, I think that everybody is side-eyeing everybody right now, especially the last people to see Nancy Guthrie alive. I'm sorry to say that, but everybody's going to be side-eyeing for a little bit until there's more proof, until there's more evidence out here. I get that there's going to be family members that are going to be side-eyed, understandably. But as the investigation continues, hopefully a lot of those people will be released from being, put under that list of suspicion. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Again, if you know anything, you've seen something, say something. Call 911 immediately. She needs to be found, and she needs to be found now. But we're going to be doing more deep dives in a little bit, guys. I got to hop off, but please do me a favor. Before we head out, hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. If you appreciated this brief, very fast live, show some love. Hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Crush it. Do what it do. Subscribe. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.